Well, I know it's been a while since I posted a video, but hey, been kind of busy and working and whatnot. And then when I get home, I say that I'm going to post the video. I have these thoughts that I want to talk about, but after sitting down, watching a little TV, eating dinner, and spending time with my family, I just fall asleep. But anyway, I made it a point today to definitely post something. One thing that has been on my mind in the last week or so has been focus and primarily dealing with the focus on God, making Him our number one focus and where we need to be, giving our attention and our minds. And without giving ourselves over to Him, we lose sight of what's important. Um, I firmly believe that through God, we see all the things that we need to see. If we don't include Him in our lives, if we don't include Him in our thoughts, in our ideas, um, just in our daily life, we miss out on a lot of important things. He is our creator. So I'm pretty sure He knows us better than we know ourselves. And it is His will that we must aim to abide in. We have our own personal desires, personal wants, um, needs as well. And if anything, He's going to be dealing with our needs rather than our wants and our whimsical ideas. So I say we look to God for everything. He is our ultimate example. If we're made in His image and likeness, then we've got a lot of work to do. We've got some big shoes to fill. And the fact that Jesus Christ did come to give us the prime example of how to live, that's very, very important. That's vital. The world itself wants to pull us away from giving our minds over to God. I mean, that's a simple fact. I just had a brief email conversation with a friend of mine who's a pastor. Um, we're talking about friendship and how we consider one another very good friends. And this is my first time, or should I say, our first time having a conversation with one another in about 2 years. A lot has changed in my life over the past 2 years, and he's still doing his thing at his church and doing it well from what I hear of the members and so forth. Um, but in that conversation, we were talking about friendship and whatnot. I had a thought that came to mind that, whenever you find yourself focusing, truly, truly focusing on God's will for your life and doing what it is He has called you to do, a lot of times you find yourself with very few people around you that you can truly consider friends. Um, there are people who will purposely distance themselves from you, and there are people who you will push away yourself. If you're trying to walk the right path, then you'll find yourself walking with like-minded people, people who are out to achieve the same goals or moving in the same direction. Although you're walking in the same direction, you're on different paths altogether. But the paths are parallel to one another, which is fine and dandy, but you often find yourself alone with your thoughts and your meditation, alone with God, alone in prayer, when you truly, truly focus on what it is God wants you to do. And your time out in the world to minister and to do what He's called you to do is limited. It's limited. There was a statement that was made in this morning's devotional in my utmost for its highest, and y'all have to forgive me because I have to get it. But it's not too far away from me. Yeah, there's a statement that I kind of highlighted, and it says, a person who has the vision of God is not devoted to a cause or to any particular issue. He is devoted to God Himself. Our devotion should be to God primarily. There are a lot of issues in the world today. There are a lot of causes that people are getting behind, but not every cause is meant for everybody. Not every issue is meant for everybody to address or to deal with. Um, if the issue was saving lives at the beach, not everybody can swim. Not everybody is a lifeguard or a strong enough swimmer to save a life out there in the waters at the beach. So I hope that analogy kind of makes sense to somebody, because when we focus on God's will for ourselves, we find ourselves doing exactly what He wants us to do at the proper time. And not every cause is meant for us. So that's a reality that's hard to accept. And I think we all struggle with that because we see causes happening, we see things going on in the world, and we feel obligated and compelled to get involved. And even in those situations, no matter how serious it is or how much help is needed in those situations, we do have to take time, pray, and ask for guidance, because your skill level, your tools, or your ability may not be enough for that cause. It may not be meant for that cause at that time. Um, and you end up causing more harm than good, getting involved in things that you were never meant to be part of. We see it off and on in our communities when something crazy happens and everybody jumps on the bandwagon. Okay, we're going to get justice, which is fine and dandy. Show your support, you know, but I don't know, it may be kind of offensive to say it, but some things you just have to leave alone and let what's meant to happen happen. And those who are meant to be involved are going to be involved. We are living in a world of causes: good, bad, ugly. Um, and you find Christians on both sides of every issue. And that's always interesting. It is always interesting. And I think that's one of the things that non believers or non Christians criticize us on, is that we Christians can't even agree on what's right and wrong. We Christians can't even agree on, just basic things, basic morals. Um, so if a non-believer is looking at us as Christians, they're wondering, okay, well, why would I want to get involved in that? Why would I want to get involved with a group of people with a cause who can't agree amongst themselves? I think in terms of Christian and how we use the term today, I have to back away from it. This is something that has been on and on in my mind for several years, and it's really been heavy on me these past couple of months, because of what's been taught or preached at church. Um, the last few times we've gone, it talks about Christian and how, the term Christian is what outsiders use to describe the disciples, people who believed in Jesus, people who followed Jesus. It's not something that Jesus gave to us. It is not something that the early disciples gave to themselves. So, with that being the case, a true follower of Jesus would be a disciple of Jesus Christ, not a Christian. And I have to move in that direction as becoming a true disciple of Christ rather than running around claiming to be a Christian when that term is so diluted and it applies to so many people with different mindsets and people that don't even believe fully in the actual word as the truth that it should be. So that's that. But back to focus. I mean, our focus should be on God, His will, His word, and living according to the examples that He's set for us. The number one example being Jesus Christ, love and compassion. And if we're to live in His image and likeness, then we have no justification for hate. We have no justification for placing judgment or condemning other people. Now, there are certain types of judgments we can make, but to judge someone as to condemn them, it's not our place. It's not our place. Ultimately, God is our example. And if we focus on Him, then we can kind of make some good of our lives rather than taking our lives in our own hands and screwing it up and picking and choosing what we want to love and not love, picking and choosing what we want to represent God. I mean, if you can't represent God 100% of your life, everywhere you go, in every situation that you find yourself in, then God He don't want to be bothered with you. It goes back to the lukewarm church in the book of Revelations. It says, I'd rather you be hot, I'd rather be cold. But since you're lukewarm, I'm just spitting you out. I'm getting rid of you. I don't have time for you. So we can't play wishy-washy with God. We should either be all in or all out. And that's plain and simple. Plain and simple. But that's my thought for now. I got a feeling I might be back on tonight. But just wanted to get that out of my head and off of my chest. So, take it easy. See you later.